the rookie A.J. Dillon out of Boston College. They drafted him in the second round with the 62nd pick. Your thought around A.J. Dillon?
A.J. Dillon is the guy that is the handcuff to Aaron Jones. And that is because he will get the rushing work if Aaron Jones goes down. You will see touches as a rookie to spell Aaron Jones in the rushing game. Jamal Williams will still get some, but Dillon's going to be mainly there. He is the guy who's going to get a lot of red zone work, I expect. Kind of what I said earlier. He loves to smash people in the face. He loved doing it at Boston College. He's going to continue doing it in the pros, and he's going to find out where he is in the food chain, right? He's going to find out which linebackers he can't run over, and he's going to find out which guys he can. And he might bust a face mask or two along the way. Like he's a more athletic Andy Janovich, right? And I use that reference because we're Broncos guys, but Andy Janovich gets the ball and looks for the closest guy to just run over and inflict pain. A.J. Dillon very much does that from the running back position. He's more elusive. He's faster. He's a better athlete, but he has a skill set. That's why they drafted him in the second round. He's got a sneaky burst. Like he's not lightning quick, but he's got a sneaky burst. He has just enough wiggle that he'll make some guys miss, but not all. And he has a nose for the end zone, which ultimately is most important because you win games by putting numbers up on the board. So he's the true handcuff to Aaron Jones. You can get him. I'm guessing you can probably pick him up in redraft leagues somewhere in the
He's going
8th or 9th round.
He's actually going just before Jamal Williams right now.
Oh, good. So he's going where he should be going then, and not necessarily off of name value. So that's good, because I think I would draft him somewhere around the 12th round. So that would make sense.
That's about where he's going.
A.J. Dillon is going to provide, and we kind of talked about it with Aaron Jones and the 19 touchdowns. Where do those touchdowns go? Where does that? We're not expecting another 19 for Jones. So where do those touchdowns go? You'd have to think that Dillon is going to pick up some of that slack, and that's really where his value is, right? Like you don't think that he's gonna see necessarily a ton of work on the ground. You don't think maybe he'll see a fair amount of snaps, but he is going to be touchdown dependent, and that's where his value is how many times he can cross the goal line in fantasy. And so that's the gamble that you're going to have to take with him is, do you think that he's going to be able to find the end zone? Do you think that he's going to eat some of those Aaron Jones touchdowns or some of those Jamal Williams? Jamal Williams only had one rushing touchdown last year, but do you think he's going to take some of those away, some of those rushing touchdowns? And that's the decision you have to make when you're drafting A.J. Dillon.
I think where we're going to see a couple interesting things is LaFleur caught on to this when both Williams and Jones were healthy last year, is you could run both backs out of the backfield and get really creative with what he was doing. And part of that's because they have a lack of talent at wide receiver. And so now you're able to do it, and you're able to mismatch between the three backs, right? So you can have Jones and A.J. Dillon in there and really gives some guys something to worry about, because Jones is still a really good receiver, but both of them can also tote the rock. So it's going to be on A.J. Dillon to decide how much emphasis and work he's going to put into pass protection, because if he's able to hold his own in pass pro with his love of hitting people, if he's able to stand up linebackers, Aaron Rodgers is going to like him very, very quickly, and he will find ways to reward him. Aaron is known for that, right? He rewards his guys who do the extra things kind of for him. So if Dillon can find a way to step up and pass pro, you'll see him with some extra, maybe it's a couple extra targets that we're not seeing, or Aaron audibling out and giving A.J. Dillon a chance. But his work ethic, once they get together and to prove himself to Aaron Rodgers, will greatly determine his fantasy value far beyond what the coaching staff and what their game script for him is.
A.J. Dillon's a guy, too, that poses some interesting things that you can do in fantasy because of the fact that he's got such a late ADP right now. If you've got a keeper type of league, it's one of those that he's worth taking a shot on deep, just from the standpoint, if you see him pop and you see him start that transition, or should the Packers decide not to pick up Aaron Jones' contract and sign him to what the money that he's going to be looking for in this coming offseason, there's a lot of interesting things that you can do there for late value. And it's one that in Dynasty is a guy that I've been looking at a lot, because you can get him in the the late second, third round type of move in Dynasty. So he's a guy that poses a lot of interesting value, not necessarily this year, but in year 2 and year 3, I think poses a ton of possibilities.